Hey, what's good, guys? Ackley Nerdcourse. Welcome back to each and every one of you. Now, there's been a lot of discussions in World of Warcraft. I think ever since the War Within launched, there's been just an array of discussions from people criticizing the Delves, people criticizing Mythic Plus. I think Mythic Plus has probably been the feature that's gone through the ringer most. But then you also have people criticizing the raids and specifically how the difficulty and the information is handled within raids, especially with World of Warcraft going super hard on things like personalized, personalized add-ons or personalized debuffs and auras, where add-ons can literally not track these things. And people have rightly complained. One of the things that I even said at the time when the personalized auras became a thing was Blizzard is going to have to update the way information is conveyed in World of Warcraft if they want to get rid of add-ons, quote unquote. And I know that's a massive debate, right? Add-ons have some people that absolutely love add-ons and some people that absolutely hate add-ons, and then some people who just don't care. That they just want to play the game. They don't care about the add-ons. And I don't want to take anything away from either group. I can see the arguments from either group. I would put myself probably, if you were to ask my bias, I would put myself a little bit more into the anti-add-on group. I don't think add-ons overwhelmingly contribute to the game. The only add-ons that I think should be there are add-ons that are completely aesthetic and they don't actually make a change to the game or relay information that you should not have in the first place in the game. So even something, for example, like boss mods, if all the boss mod is doing is giving you the ability to change where the information is shown, that's one thing I can be okay with. But anything else, I think, is going a little bit too far. But of course, that's my opinion. Everyone's going to have their own. And luckily, I'm not a developer, so I don't have any effect on that. What I do sort of have for you is very good news. Very good news indeed. So it turns out after about, I want to say, 6 years of this debate, we finally have Blizzard saying enough on the old swirly debate. Now, for those of you that maybe don't know what swirlies are referring to, these are the projections on the ground that tell you where to stand and where not to stand. In World of Warcraft, they've always had a different sort of approach. In Final Fantasy XIV, for example, the warning, the projections on the ground are these bright yellowish, sort of atrocious looking things. And I don't mean atrocious as an ugly, I just mean it's an eyesore. You can see it instantly as you look at it. In World of Warcraft, they've always tried to be a little bit more thematic with it. So it would fit kind of the colors of the boss, or at least the abilities of the boss maybe, or it would try to fit the color of the ability. So what oftentimes would happen, and yes, Blizzard have taken a little bit more care to try and not have it, but you have had moments in the past. I'm reminded of one of the raids in Dragonflight where the room, it was the raid with what was the name? The first raid where you go into the final boss of Deathwing's lair, of Deathwing's lab. I can't remember his name now. Completely blank on that. But where the swirly is purple and the room is also kind of purple. So seeing the swirly on the ground is almost impossible. You have to really look to go, hey, the ground's moving below me. Oh, I should be moving out of this. So there's been a lot of trouble with this. Now, it turns out in patch 11.1, Blizzard is finally changing it. Now, Blizzard's explanation here is that the graphic is no longer one large swirl. Instead, the swirl animation is only seen in the border of the circle. The rest of the circle is filled transparently to give a greater emphasis on where it is safe to stand. The border of the swirl is much brighter than the rest of the graphic. And you can kind of see them in these pictures. So you can see that there's a very bright border here, right? With the rest of it not necessarily as bright. But I will say, from at least my perspective in what I'm seeing here, this is a lot clearer, right? It's a lot clearer. It seems to make a hell of a lot more sense. We'll have to see when you're in the midst of a massive fight and there's like a lot of stuff happening around you, if you're going to be seeing the exact same thing or if it's going to become a mess again. But it is definitely a lot better, I feel, than in the past. There is also a video here for the new swirlies that I can show you guys if in case you wanted to see it. I just think this is a good change. And it's another one of those changes that I think, the War Within, you can say a lot of things about the War Within, and there's obviously a lot of people that have a lot of opinions about the War Within. And I don't think it's necessarily an overstatement or maybe even a phenomenally negative statement to say that a lot of people aren't very happy at the moment with the state of the War Within. But I will give Blizzard a lot of praise for how they are responding to player feedback in the War Within. It's going to, the question is going to be, will that response to feedback be enough? And will it ultimately be enough to retain the player base and maybe grow the player base? Or are we seeing a sort of decline? Is Blizzard going to have to do something even bigger? Is there a change that still needs to be made at some point? There's probably a lot of conversations that we can be having to the formulaic approach of World of Warcraft. But fundamentally, I am encouraged when I see these very positive changes to the game. And hopefully, in the future, there will be even more hard conversations that we can have, like, for example, Mythic Plus, like raiding, like the formulaic approach to World of Warcraft, the fact that almost everything added to World of Warcraft is basically part of that exact same formula, and that does become very, very boring after a while. Hopefully, we can start having those conversations at some point. But for now, I think praise where praise is due. This is a good change. But that's not what matters. What matters is what you think. So let me know in the comment section down below. Are you happy about this? What is your general thoughts about World of Warcraft? I'd love to hear it. Hit the like if you like, dislike if you didn't, and I will see all of you in the next one. Peace.